Well, I tore my ACL again. Not the same ACL, but the other one this time. Not fun, not excited about it. So let me back it up and give you the full context, because we were at DecaFit Austin weekend before this past one. So it's been 9 days since the injury now. And I was at DecaFit Austin Saturday, my very first race out of the gate. I got to zone 3, the box step over / jump over, and I was doing my box overs like normal. It was my solo race, which was my fastest paced race of the weekend, or at least my fastest box paces for the weekend, because I wasn't planning on doing boxes for our team race later. But you know, I was 17 in, and on one of the boxes I just felt my knee literally go boom, and searing pain for 10 seconds, and I knew exactly what happened. It was the exact same thing that happened to me back in 2022 on my left knee, and it felt almost identical on the right knee. In that moment, it was heartbreaking. I knew exactly what had happened. I knew exactly what it meant for my season and for the next year. I knew that this year I was hoping to make it to the elite wave at World Championships, and I knew in that moment my season was done and I wouldn't be at World Champs this year. And that's hard, and it's still hard. And it's honestly a scary prognosis, you know. With my first ACL back in 2022, I was in a much different place than I am now. You know, I was less physically strong. I was just finding DECA. I had only done one DECA strong at that point, and so I had just found something that made me feel athletic again, and I was so excited for it. But I hadn't trained into it, and I wasn't moving or training athletically at that point. So I wanted to be athletic again, but I wasn't trained into that. So physically I was weaker at that point in my life. I didn't have a cardio base at that point. I had not started running at that point either. And mentally, I was also not where I am now. So during that first ACL reconstruction, I definitely had some depression going on in that recovery phase. And it's one of the darkest times that I've had in my life. And so knowing that moment at DecaFit last weekend, where I know exactly what happened and I knew what I'd be having to face in the next few months, was just kind of world shattering. And it's still scary, you know. I haven't had surgery yet at the time that I'm filming. My surgery is scheduled to be 3 days from now. On Thursday this week, it's Monday. And so honestly, with 3 days out, I'm scared. It's gonna be a hard recovery, but the good thing is I know I've done it before, and I know I can do it again, and I know I can come back and compete at a high level afterward. So I'm trying to keep everything positive, because there is hope, and my life isn't over. An ACL is not a career ender like it used to be. Plus, I'm in a much better place this time. You know, I'm physically and mentally so much stronger. I have such a phenomenal community around me this time supporting me through this. But at least this time, I know that I can make it through, and I know that I've got it this time because I've done it already. So if anything, going in with those expectations already, you know, I already know exactly what the recovery feels like. I've been in it before, I've lived it. I feel like I'm in a much better place for this surgery than I was for the first one. I won't know till I'm in it, honestly. It does scare me. The first week, the first month after surgery is a lot of pain and a lot of frustration and immobility and dependence, because you can't do anything for yourself. It's very hard to do anything. You can't do any house chores, you can't cook, you can't clean. I won't be able to chase my toddler around or be a mom like I want to be, which is the hardest. And I really thought I wouldn't get emotional on camera. That's the irony of it. But I think one of the biggest blessings I've seen so far, and a massive answer to prayer that I've seen, is I am 9 days out of injury currently, and I have 3 days till surgery. That is less than 2 weeks from injury to surgery, which is, you don't see that ever, especially in American healthcare. So the time frame between everything is just phenomenal. And you know, I got in immediately with my orthopedic doctor. I got an MRI the same afternoon. I got the results the next day and got scheduled for surgery the next day. And I had the first availability, which was 1 week from that phone call. So it was literally a complete God thing. The turnaround on it was just so fast. You know, I couldn't have set it up better myself. So I'm immensely thankful for all the prayers and all the things that had to go into place to make that happen, for me to get the surgery so fast. That's definitely huge. I think all in all, where I am right now, having sat with it for over a week now and having kind of had a little bit of time to process the injury, what happened, at the end of my season, I've definitely had to grieve that. And I'm still working through things, obviously. It's gonna be a hard, long road this year, and there's gonna be a lot of FOMO, I know that. But I think I'm at a much better place than I was, especially Saturday when it happened. That day I was a wreck. I was a total mess. It kind of reminds me of back in 2024. I found out I was pregnant the day before New Year's 2024, and or I guess the eve of New Year. So it's still 2023 basically, but right at the end of the year. Anyway, and at that moment when I found out I was pregnant, I was both happy, immensely happy, but also immensely sad because I knew my season was over at that point. I knew that I'd be giving birth August, September, and then I'd be out for Worlds in December with postpartum. And we weren't aiming to have a kid that early in the year. We were hoping for later in the year because I thought it would take time, and it was just a lot faster than we had anticipated. So in a weird way, I feel really guilty saying that because I know a lot of people struggle with that. To say that I had to mourn my season when I was met with joyful news, but as an athlete, that is a reality. Whenever something takes you out of sport, no matter how joyful it is, you still have to face the facts that you're out of sport for a while. And obviously, there was a massive silver lining last time in 2024 because we absolutely love Baby G, and I wouldn't have changed anything for the world. But this time, it's extremely frustrating. There's seemingly no purpose, no method to the madness. Although I know God has a greater purpose for it, and I can't wait to see what that is. It's unknown right now. I have definitely had to grieve the season, and know that I'll never know what that DECA foot would have looked like. I'll never know what my other 2 races that I had planned that weekend would have looked like. I'll never know what the rest of the season would have looked like, or Worlds this year. If I had competed in the elite field, and I have to be okay with that because it's not for me this year. It's not in the plan. All in all, I'm trying to embrace this with a different attitude than the first time. And instead of having a woe is me, life is awful attitude, I'm trying to walk into it with a different mindset. This is an opportunity for me to slow down. This is an opportunity for me to focus on the things that really matter, on different hobbies and things that I like to do. So crafting or books or, random other things that I love doing, as long as I can do it while on the couch. But it's just going to be a different season that I didn't have planned, but it happened anyway, so I'm trying to embrace that as it comes. And the good news is I've already done it, so I know what to anticipate and I know what I need. Like, I knew I needed a shower chair, I knew I needed crutch pads and a crutch purse, and I knew I needed some sort of home gym equipment where I could work out before I'm able to return to the gym once I lose the crutches. But at least that first month I'll be on crutches for sure, and then after that, once I get confident enough off the crutches, then I'll be able to return to the gym for some upper body cardio stuff. But I don't have it yet. It'll be delivered next week, but my buddy is lending me an air bike for the house, so that's a big blessing. I'll be able to do some upper body cardio and keep working out once I'm cleared for that. Post-op, it'll be super nice. I also have several erg-like options. I posted a reel on Instagram about it. There's a few options that I can do for like ski or row at home too that are similar, maybe not exact, but they're going to be still good options for cardio. So on Thursday is surgery, and what it's going to look like is basically the exact same thing that happened on this knee. We're just doing it on this knee now. So it was left in 22, it's going to be right in 26. It's an arthroscopy of my knee, and they're doing a cadaver ligament. So they're taking an Achilles tendon from a cadaver and taking out my old ACL and putting in the new one. I'm not going to get into any gory details or anything. You can look up what an arthroscopy of the knee looks like. But it's a very, very unintrusive surgery. There's 5 or 6 tiny little scars. The biggest one on my knee is a 1-inch scar. Everything else is like a centimeter or less. So it's really non-invasive, which is fantastic. And because they're not taking from my patellar tendon or any of my other tendons, it doesn't weaken any of the other structures of the knee because they're using that cadaver graft instead. So I love it because it's not going to inhibit performance or inhibit any other muscles or weaken other surrounding structures for the knee. So it's a good option, and I've enjoyed my left knee. It's done really well since that surgery. I'm hoping this one will turn out just as well, if not better, so we'll see. But that's the basics of the surgery and what's happening. With the meniscus, my medial meniscus is damaged as well too, and with that there's two portions of the meniscus. This is at least how it's been explained to me. I'm not a doctor, okay? So apologies if it's wrong or off slightly. But the meniscus has two portions, one that's vascularized and the other that's non-vascularized. The doctor told me in the non-vascularized section, they can simply like cut it off like a toenail. They'll just trim the section that they need to so I can go back to movement and it's fine. And I don't have to be under any limitations for that post-op. If it's in the vascularized section where they need to stitch the meniscus because it has blood flow and it can heal instead of just having to trim it, I have to let those stitches heal, and I can't bear load under bend for 6 to 8 weeks, and that's depending on the PT and how it's healing up and stuff. That's how it was with my first surgery. I had to keep my leg locked out under load. I was able to bend it when it was just casually hanging out. You know, I could have it on the couch, on a pillow, on the CPM machine, bent, and the CPM would bend it for me, so I wouldn't have to flex my muscles to make it happen. But I could work on range of motion passively, just not actively, and especially not under load. So I'm going to assume that's going to happen here. I'm going to assume the lockout, and if I don't have to lock my knee out, that'll be amazing. So I don't know what to expect on that. They won't know until they get in there and see what's happened, if they need to stitch it or just trim it, but we'll have to wait and see. Hoping for a trim, not a stitch. So that's what's gonna happen on Thursday, and I normally have severe nausea after anesthesia. Just fun fact, you needed to know that. So I'm really praying that they give me enough nausea meds where I don't just puke my guts out afterwards. I have definitely been blessed with a fantastic support system. I've gotten so many amazing messages and comments and everything. It's blowing me away, honestly, how many caring people there are out there. So I'm definitely thankful. Again, not where I wanted to be, but we're gonna walk through it anyway, and I'm here for the ups and downs, and one way or another I'm gonna get better. So that's the lowdown on this side of the operation. I'll come back and film another segment after the operation to let y'all know how it went, but that's the basics and how I'm feeling going into the operation. It's a little scary, but I know we can make it. Well, here we are. I had surgery 2 days ago. It is Saturday now, and I had surgery on Thursday morning. Let's talk about how it went. We had a little bit of like an insurance scare at first where my insurance did not want to approve the meniscus repair. So my doctor was able to get a peer-to-peer consultation to talk about that, and we were going to fix the meniscus. So he went in and then discovered the meniscus was not actually damaged at all, which is a huge blessing, because the MRI was not very clear on whether it was or wasn't, or where the damage was. So anyway, there was no damage whatsoever. So it's just the ACL they had to fix. And so I got an allograft, which is from a cadaver Achilles tendon. And the scars on the side are identical to my other scars from my other ACL repair over here. So I've got a matching set now. This surgery already has been so different than my first experience. The nerve block was very similar. It lasted until basically like late last night it started wearing off, and this morning it was basically gone. So I still have maybe a couple like tingly patches that are still getting their feeling back, but for the most part everything's back. I can feel everything now. And that was very similar to my first experience. On the other hand, now that it's worn off, I'm feeling the real pain, and the pain this time is significantly less than it was on the other side. So over here, they had to do stitch up the vascularized section of the meniscus, which my doctor told me is about 10% of all cases in menisci. So anyway, that was like a rarity that they had to stitch it. Most of the time they just trim it off if it's in the non-vascularized section. But since I don't have stitches in my meniscus or had any trauma to that whatsoever, it's been a lot less painful to be on the CPM and to be working on this with my therapy exercises and everything. So that's been really cool, just to have that difference already. But I guess I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit here too, because when it came to the surgery day, one of my biggest fears was throwing up, because after this surgery, I threw up once or twice in recovery, and then at least once on the way home, and at least 3 times when I got home. So it was a lot of puking all day long after this one, because they just didn't give me the correct doses I needed for nausea. And so on this one, I was very adamant. I had awful nausea last time. Please help me fix that this time. They gave me the little patch behind my ear and a couple things with IV, and absolutely no nausea whatsoever after the surgery. So they definitely pivoted and corrected the ways that they should have. So I am very thankful that when I woke up, there was no nausea. I was very lucid as well, which was nice. I wasn't just loopy and crazy like the first time. It took me forever to finally get out of that loopy condition, you know, with the first knee. All around, the surgery was so much simpler and smoother. The recovery has been so much smoother, the first 48 hours at least. I am on the CPM. We're going up to, I started 45 degrees the first day right after surgery. And then yesterday I went up to 50 degrees. Now I'm at 55 degrees today. Anyway, that progression has gone really well and my knee has been able to take that really well. And today is the first day I've been able to take the brace off, and I unwrapped it a little while ago just to check the incisions and everything, and things are looking so good. They're basically, like I said, mirror image to my other knee. So it's really easy to find out, to know where everything is, since I already knew that for my first side. Yeah, I'm honestly very surprised that it's not as painful as I thought it would be, and I'm getting around a lot easier, probably just because I have better crutch practice. I know how to use crutches a little better this time. But also I'm just feeling a lot more myself, probably because I'm not on as much heavy pain meds as the first time, because I was definitely at a higher dosage when I was on this knee because it hurt a lot more. So now my pain medication is lower, I feel more like myself, you know, it's been a lot smoother already. So while we're on the topic of immediate post-op, I will mention my crutches are awesome. They are just basic crutches, but they come, I found this crutch pad kit on Amazon. So I love lilac, it's one of my new favorite colors. And so anyway, I got that. And then this one comes with a crutch purse. So I can I have a little spot for my earbuds. I have a book light in the back there. I also have my notebook, which has all of my dosage information. So I know when I've taken my pills, when I need to take my next one. And it also has my exercise information. So how many times I've done my exercises throughout the day, how many times I've done my CPM throughout the day, and then icing as well. So I keep up with my regimen that I'm supposed to be on for this. So I love it because it's really easy just to keep a small notebook with you, and you can take that to therapy. I can take that to my doctor's appointments, so I can say exactly how many times I've been doing it, what degrees I'm going up to on the CPM, you know, what my progressions have been. That was my mom's idea. Ingenious. Wonderful. Other things that are making life simpler is having a shower chair. The first time with this knee, I did not have a shower chair. We literally brought a camping chair in from outside and sacrificed it to the shower for a few months. And that's the way it worked, but now we have a dedicated shower chair, and that's a lot nicer. I also know I came prepared with books and audiobooks, so if I was able to do physical reads, I could. I know when I was loopy after the first side, I didn't have the awareness or the ability to focus on words on a page, so that's where audiobooks came in handy since I was on higher pain meds there. But on this side, I have been more cognizant and aware, so I have been able to physically read a couple of those books on my TBR, so that's been really nice. So I've just been sitting in the CPM reading, you know, so we haven't been binging a bunch of TV or whatever. So I've really enjoyed that, getting back to some of the books I really want to get into. So yeah, not a whole lot to report on this post-op segment. It's just a couple days out, so you know, I'll know more in a week or so. Granted, I was not able to get into a physical therapist until next Tuesday, so I'm gonna have to be doing my own homework here for a little over a week before I can actually see a physical therapist. So that's unfortunate. I think it's just bad timing. Like, everybody was booked up that I could find. In my preferred place, I could only get in by June 2nd. So it'll be a little ways off, but that's okay. I will call my doctor's office back on Tuesday, my orthopedic doctor, just to see if there's any other exercises I can be adding in the meantime before I see the PT. But otherwise, we're gonna stick with their little regimen they gave me of exercises, CPM, ice, and we're gonna do that religiously for the next week. Yeah, we're just waiting to see with load bearing where I can be with that, and then when I can start back to upper body exercise or upper body cardio. My buddy's gonna be bringing the air bike soon at the first part of this next week, so I'm super excited to get the air bike in. So I should just be able to prop my feet and go to town with the upper body, just so I keep up some zone 2, some cardio base there while I'm recovering. And eventually, once I do have range of motion and the therapist clears me, I should be able to turn over and practice just a little range of motion on the bike as well at home. So that's going to be super, super nice. Eventually, that's going to be a few weeks down the road, not yet. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really I mean, this recovery has already been so much smoother than the first side, and I have so much more optimism going into this one, especially knowing where I am right now compared to where I was the first time. It's night and day. It's so different, and I am very, very thankful the meniscus was not damaged. I think that had to do a lot with the pain levels and a lot with my range of motion. The CPM is actually fun. I actually enjoy the CPM right now, whereas last time it was torture, or at least heavily disliked. So anyway, just a different perspective change now versus then, and slightly different repair from side to side. So that's been a neat, very fortunate discovery since the last time I filmed with you guys. So I think that's where we're gonna leave this video. I'll make another one. It's coming up about the first couple weeks coming off of surgery and going into therapy and getting started on that path. But for now, that is pre-op and immediate post-op and what happened with. So if you want to follow along with my ACL journey, go ahead and subscribe down below. I also share a lot of this content on my Instagram as well, and I'll do a lot in stories and stuff as I do my daily therapy and stuff like that. So check out my Instagram at Katie Garrison Fitness as well, to follow along there for a little bit more play-by-play. And don't forget to check out the description for a lot of great fun freebies, my fit tips emails, and to learn more about my program Hybrid Strength. But that's all I've got for you today. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye!